Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien, and in today's live stream we're going to be talking about Bitcoin, of course, as always, but we'll talk about a few stocks here in the stock market, talk about what might be causing the stock market to do what it's doing right now and cryptocurrency markets. But yeah, we'll get started with talking about Bitcoin first, and then Ripple. And then I want to move on to showing you guys what's going on in stock market world here. And then we'll go back into looking at some cryptos and taking requests here. But hello to my TikTok streamers. Good to see you guys are starting to make your way into the stream. And let me go ahead and just flip the camera over so you guys can see what we're looking at here. Okay. All right. So here we go. We'll look at the price of Bitcoin, currently at $81,800. And let me just clean up the charts here a little bit. We're still looking at Bitcoin, right? Struggling below the 200-day moving average, this red line right here. Okay. Looks like bear flag is starting to play out. We might come and retest the lows here that we made back in March, earlier March, where we got as low as like $76,500 here on Bitcoin. Not good, not good. And if I zoom in, let's see what the 4-hour chart is showing. 4-hour chart shows that Bitcoin tried to get above the 200-day moving average, okay, but looks like we're getting rejected and we're coming back below. So, you know, as long as we're below that 4 hour, the 200 MA on the 4 hour, I can't be bullish on Bitcoin. I can't be bullish on crypto. All right. And like I said, I expect us to come back and retest like $76,000, $77,000 one more time here if we're going to continue being bearish. Okay. That is the long story. I'm sorry, that is the short of the long story for the price of Bitcoin. We still got the fib level here at 0.236 that says that Bitcoin most likely will come back down to that level, $77,142 on Bitcoin. But yeah, let's take a look at Ripple, and then we'll start looking at some stocks, and then we'll look at some cryptos and stocks. Okay. But yeah, let's look at Ripple here. XRP currently trading at $2.11. I did a TikTok and a YouTube short on Ripple here, and the main gist of what I had to say was, you know, Ripple is one of the strongest cryptocurrencies out there, only because it's already above its 200-day moving average, that red line, which is currently sitting at $1.78. If we start losing this 100-day moving average that we're at right now, we're probably going to come down to that 200-day moving average at $1.78. And if we lose the $1.78 level, we could come down a little bit further. Okay, if I turn on the VRVP, it's showing that we have a high volume node level here at $1.48, $1.50 here, where Ripple could come down to if we're going to start seeing some more bearish price action in the markets. Okay, so you know, you got to plan for these things, you know, put your stop losses in. Maybe you guys want to ride it out. This might just be noise to you, but for those who are thinking about taking profits, you know, you can probably put your stop loss right where this candle wick here is at $1.89. If we get down to $1.89, you know, it looks like Ripple's going to come right down to, you know, the $1.78 level where the 200-day moving average is at. Okay. And then if it loses that, then, you know, I'm just giving you guys some ideas here where you can put some stop losses. And if you don't know how to use a stop loss or not able to do a stop loss, then you can do a mental stop loss. You'd be like, all right, at $1.90, I don't want anything to do with Ripple. Okay, maybe I'll sell half my position and see if I can get in at a lower price to get back in on Ripple. But you know, the bullish target for Ripple, if we were to actually become bullish again, is you got a big volume gap here on the VRVP. These green and red lines here, you got a big black gap here, and it says that Ripple could come up to $3.14 in no time with no resistance. Okay, I mean, you can see like back here, you know, when Ripple started shooting up above the moving averages here, you know, we got up to $3, okay, on Ripple. So, you know, it can happen really fast, okay, when it does decide to go back up again. Okay, but right now I'm just trying to give you guys a realistic case here that things aren't looking so great in cryptocurrency world, and with Bitcoin and Ripple. We might come back and start retesting the lows that we made here in March and February. For Ripple, it looks like we might come back down to $1.90. Okay, guys, if you're liking my technical analysis so far, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the live streams here, go ahead and click that subscribe button so you can see me show up again on your feed. Next time I go live, you'll be notified. Okay. All right. So that's Ripple in Bitcoin, and what I want to show you guys right now this weekend. Okay, I don't want to get too political, but you know, politics and what the White House administration does affect our money and our purse here. I want to show you what's going on with Donald Trump and Putin. Okay, right now he's saying that Trump is pissed off with Putin over lack of peace progress. Okay. Putin is calling for a transnational government for Ukraine on Friday. Putin basically wants Zelensky out. He doesn't want him as president of Ukraine anymore. If we're going to continue having peace talks here. But Donald Trump knows that's unrealistic, and he wants Putin to do the right thing here. As I continue on to this news article here, it says that Putin is pissed off at Putin for lashing out at President Zelensky this weekend. Trump told the outlet that he was frustrated with Putin for not moving in the right direction toward a peace agreement with Ukraine. Putin disparaged Zelensky's leadership on Friday, arguing that a transnational government may be necessary for Ukraine. But here's how this could affect us in the markets, okay? This is what Donald Trump had to say. He said that if Russia and I are unable to make a deal on stopping the bloodshed in Ukraine, and if I think it was Russia's fault, which it might not be, that's Donald Trump. But if I think it was Russia's fault, I am going to put secondary tariffs on all oil coming out of Russia. Okay? That would be that if you buy oil from Russia, you can't do business in the United States. There will be a 25% tariff on all oil, a 25 to 50% tariff on all oil. So once again, Trump is now threatening tariffs, and he's not putting tariffs on Russia. He's going to be putting tariffs on anybody who does business with Russia, anybody who buys oil from Russia. And what does that mean? Who actually buys oil from Russia? If I look over here, I just typed in Google, who does Russia sell oil to? It says here that Russia sells oil to China, India, and Turkey, with China being the largest buyer of Russian crude exports. So now, what? Does that mean that Trump is going to now slap more tariffs on China? Everything that we buy from China is now going to be more expensive because Trump is going to put a tariff on it because Russia is not cooperating in the peace deal here? That might be the case. And how's that going to affect the oil markets? How's that going to affect crypto and every other market out there? It's going to affect all the markets, okay? And that is probably why back here in cryptocurrency world and also in stock market world, we have markets not liking the news, and we're just dragging tail over here, going down to lower prices. But yeah, that's the bit of news that's affecting the markets this weekend and going into next week here. All right. I wanted to show you guys what's going on in the stock market world here. Okay. We'll take a look at Google. Okay. And then we'll take a look at Tesla. Okay. See what kind of stocks are getting affected by all this talk about tariffs and stuff like that. Okay. Google Alphabet here, right? Have seen some better days in the beginning of February over here when we were trading as high as about $192. Okay, point of control for Google's at $164, right? And it looks like Google has lost the 200-day moving average, 100-day, and the 50-day moving average. There's really not that much support for Google except for like this low that we made here back in September, where we were as low as $150. Since we already lost the point of control, I believe we're going to come right back down to that $150 level here on Google. I mean, we're already at it right now, but at $154 right now. But could we go lower on Google? Yeah, I think we could. We could come down, basically to the $150 level, which is high volume node. But if I zoom out, all right, and get some more data here on the VRVP, I'll let this thing reset. And the VRVP is saying that the point of control is actually at $130. Okay, so Google could probably come down to $130 as we continue being bearish in the markets here. Okay, I wouldn't really be bullish on Google until we get above that 200-day moving average. Okay, this could possibly be a higher low if we do an immediate V-shaped recovery out of here. But with all this talk about tariffs and secondary tariffs, coming from Donald Trump and the White House administration, I really can't see why we got to be bullish here. It's most likely that we're coming down on the markets and we're coming down on Google here. Okay. But yeah, let's move on to another stock that's gotten beaten up. We'll look at Donald Trump's buddy, Elon Musk, and his electric car company here, Tesla. You can see here with Tesla currently at $263.55. I have some previous chart work here. Let me just get rid of that. $280 was like a line in the sand that I think Tesla needed to remain above, but it blew right below that. Okay. Point of control on Tesla is at actually $249. Actually, no, I'm sorry. That just changed on me here. Okay. Point of control. We take out, yeah. Point of control is about roughly like $253. Okay, with all this data here. But if we continue going lower here on Tesla, you got like a big high volume node here at 180 bucks. Okay, that might be where you can scoop up some really good cheap Tesla. Okay, Tesla at 182 bucks, right? It's a support area that was a support area throughout most of 2024. Okay, and going into 2023. So $180 Tesla might be in the cards here if we continue being bearish and we continue slapping on more tariffs on everybody that does business with America. Okay, unfortunately. But yeah, markets are looking bearish. Tesla's looking bearish. Okay, Tesla lost the 200-day moving average, this red line. You can see that this is very bearish here. We lost it back in February, the end of February. Then we had a bounce back. We had like a dead cat bounce. Then we got rejected off of the 200-day moving average. This is very bearish here, okay? You could put a short on Tesla and put your stop loss right above the 200-day moving average, which is currently sitting at 286. And you might not ever get stopped out as this thing continues going back down, at least back down to this point of control line here at $219 for Tesla. Okay, that is not good. Not good. Alrighty. Let me see if we yeah, Ethan is saying Tesla is trash. Yeah, it's looking like trash right now, and with high interest rates and high inflation and tariffs, I mean, this is a killer for all the car companies out there, all the auto stocks. You know, I could probably take a look at Ford, and Ford is probably looking just as bad as Tesla right now. Okay, it's not just Tesla. Yeah, you know, here in the 200-day, you know, Ford is below the 200-day moving average, below its point of control at 12 bucks. Okay. Ford has not seen its highest point here since July of 2024 when it was at 14 bucks. And it's been having a rough go of it ever since pretty much the end of COVID here at like 2022. We saw this stock at like 24 bucks and that was it. Okay. But yeah, all these car companies are not going to do so well with Donald Trump slapping on tariffs and everything. Okay. Let's take a look at Microsoft, and then we'll go back into looking at some cryptocurrencies after that. Okay. If you guys got some cryptos you want me to take a look at, by all means, go ahead and let me, you know, put in that request. Okay. But we'll take a look at Microsoft. Hey Jim, good to see that you're in the live stream here. You over here saying that Max Payne is ahead, CME open, nice and red. Let's see how they react. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. You're talking about the CME gap for Bitcoin. I mean, we'll take a look at the Bitcoin again one more time here. But I want to finish off here with Microsoft, and then we'll take a look at Bitcoin and look at some other cryptos here. So yeah, so Microsoft, right? Let me just get rid of the VRVP here real quick. Microsoft was in this pattern here that I was looking at earlier. Okay, but Microsoft is below its moving averages, the 200, 150. It's been having a rough go of it ever since the end of January. Okay, basically after Donald Trump's inauguration, a lot of these technology stocks have been falling off a cliff here. Okay, and we need to find out what the support areas might be for Microsoft. Now I see some sideways trading action here at like 320 bucks. So if I turn on the VRVP, it might agree with me that that is, wow, look at that. That's actually where the point of control is at. Okay, the POC, point of control, high volume node is at $336 here for Microsoft. that could be where Microsoft actually gets a bounce in the future here. There is some volume here at like 373, 370. Okay. So in the short term, Microsoft might continue a little bit lower to 370, but once we lose 370, you got this big gap in the volume here, and we could easily come right back down to like 336 here. Okay. So those are the bearish targets for Microsoft. The bullish case would be, you know, Donald Trump just stops talking about tariffs and maybe talk about something more productive like the tax cuts. He said that he wants to get us going here, and then maybe Microsoft can come right back to the high volume node here at $414. But until then, I mean, it looks like there's going to be some discount deals coming in the near future. Every time Donald Trump talks about tariffs and secondary tariffs and slapping tariffs on every single country that does business with America, you guys might be finding some cheaper stocks. Okay, Donald Trump might actually be making stocks more affordable for everybody. As sad as to say. Watch some tariff global cryptos here. We'll see. We'll see. I think I've heard like some rumors and talks that you know, some speculation that Donald Trump might be tariffing countries that where some cryptos are made in some countries that aren't doing business with America. Let's take a look at Bitcoin one more time here. Bitcoin at $82,000, and you mentioned CME, so we'll take a look at Bitcoin CME futures here. And the CME futures is currently trading at $81,935. If I zoom in, okay, yeah, looks like we have a recent gap here, okay, and the gap is currently at around $83,000. We gap down to like 82,500. So this gaps usually do like to get filled, so we might see Bitcoin come and rise back up to $83,000 Bitcoin again, and then we might get rejected and come right back down to the 200-day moving average, which is currently sitting at 78,200. Okay, so we have a 200-day moving average, which might give us some support. Maybe later on this week we might see Bitcoin at $78,000. Okay. Let's see, I'm trying to see if, do I got any requests? I think I'm ready to start taking requests here, guys, on your favorite cryptos and favorite stocks. If you got a stock you want me to talk about, we can talk about that too. Okay. Just looking at my TikTok streamers here. Don't forget to hit that like button. We just talked about Tesla. About 10 minutes ago. Alright. But I'll give you the synopsis real quick, and then you can go back a little bit earlier in the live stream to see what I had to say about Tesla. Okay. But Tesla is, as one user here said, Tesla's trash right now. And yeah, if Tesla continues being bearish, then you got the point of control at like 180 bucks. Yeah, 180 bucks is where we could see some support for Tesla if it comes down to lower prices here. You got another high volume node here at $215 Tesla. Okay, and then you got the majority of your high volume here at 245. So those are your targets for Tesla, where you can scoop up some cheaper Tesla at like 245, and then some more Tesla at 215, and then you probably get a really good deal at getting some Tesla at 180 bucks. And I'm not bullish on Tesla until I can get above the 200-day moving average. And what I don't like about Tesla is that we just rejected the 200-day moving average. We bearishly back tested the 200-day moving average. And I mean, if you're going to short Tesla, you can put your stop loss right above the 200-day moving average, and then continue printing money as you're probably going to make some money shorting Tesla. All right. Let's see. All right, we have a request for Solana. And I don't know what you mean, Legacy Builder, about do you know the answer? The answer for what? And then let's see, I got Jim over here. He wants to take a look at TLOS. Okay. So we'll look at Solana and then we'll look at the TLOS for the requests here in the stream. Alright. So here we go. Let's look at Solana. So Solana currently trading $124, and Solana looks like it bearishly back tested the point of control. The point of control for Solana was about $144. I said that in about a couple of weeks ago. I said that Solana, when it was down at 120 bucks, that it wants to come right back to 140, because that's where a lot of the volume here is at on the VRVP. Okay, the VRVP is the volume range visual profile. It's these green and red bars here. Very useful tool to have added to your trading view charts here, and it just tells you where traders and investors were buying and selling the asset at. Okay, so a lot of people bought Solana at 140 bucks. So 140 bucks is where a lot of people were at, like, break even for Solana. But now that Solana's coming down below that, a lot of people are now underwater on Solana. And if Solana continues being bearish here, okay, I feel like it's going to be a quick drop down. You have a quick drop down. You got some high volume node here. You got a high volume at 110 bucks. Yeah, as this thing starts to reset. You got $110, probably the first stop for Solana. Then you got the psychological $100 level. That needs to be defended. And if we're not able to defend $100 psychologically, then you got another gap here, which shows that Solana could come down to about $73. Okay, you could have a $73 Solana. I highly doubt that will come to the point of control here at a 20 bucks. A lot of people bought Solana back in 2023 and 2022. At least during the majority of 2023. I know you could have bought Solana at 20 bucks. Okay, but I highly doubt we'll come down that level. I believe that we would get a bounce back. But that might be the bearish, if we are in a bear market, that might be the bear market low for Solana. If Solana does keep going down, $20 might be where you actually scoop up some cheap Solana. Okay, but I'm not that bearish yet on Solana. I think that the $100 Solana is going to probably be heavily defended as a psychological level. And then we also have $110 is also good support for Solana. But you can't be bullish on Solana until you start making higher lows and higher highs. Right now, we got a high right here at $144. So, you know, if Solana can just do a V-shaped recovery right now, if Donald Trump could just get rid of these tariffs or just stop talking about tariffs, we could possibly see this be a higher low compared to where we were here in the middle of March, where we got as low as 112 bucks. And then you need to see Solana get above the $144 level, maybe get up to like $150 or $160, and then you can say, all right, we got a little bit of a bull trend going here for Solana. But you can't be bullish until you get above $144 on Solana. Okay, and now we'll take a look at the TLOS from my buddy Jim. Thank you for coming on the live stream. Don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, let's go ahead and TLOS, what was that? Telos? I think I'll look at it on, let me see, USD. That's a good exchange for me to look it on. I think I'll look at it on BitGet. Yeah, see what it looks like on BitGet. Okay, so we have Telos. I think I'm saying it right. Telos is currently at 9 cents. This cryptocurrency lost the 200-day moving average back on January 4th here. And we never got a chance to actually test, do a bearish back test off of this. We just kept going straight down on Telos, okay? But I do see some promising price action here with some bullish divergence on Telos, okay? You got higher lows here on the RSI. Obviously, you got some lower lows here on price. That's bullish divergence for those who don't know, okay? That indicates that we could be bottoming out here on Telos, okay? Then I got the 21 exponential moving average showing that we're using that now, and instead of that being resistance, we're now using that as support. Okay. And I want to see us stay above, 9.5 cents. I know it's really tight. We're kind of like almost at 9.5 cents for Telos, but we want to use that 21 EMA as support and try to bounce up to higher prices, and maybe we get rejected at this 50-day moving average at 14 cents, but at least that would be creating a higher high here, and then we can work on making a higher low at some point as this thing continues to higher prices, possibly. And yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get familiar with this crypto here, see what the previous price action was showing. Looks like this thing started trading on BitGet back in April of 2022. This thing was as high as 94 cents, almost $1 here. And you got yourself a lower high here in February 2024 when it was at 61 cents. Interesting. So this crypto could be bottoming out here. I do see some previous price action here, which could act as support at around 6.5 cents. And I bet you if I turn on the VRVP here, it would agree with me that that's probably a high volume node here. Let me go ahead and do that for you. Wow, actually the point of control is about 9 cents. So if you get this crypto for less than 9 cents, you're probably getting a good deal on it. Okay. But right now we're a little bit above 9.5 cents, so this might be a good area to start buying some Telos if you're bullish on it. And I would just start accumulating below 9 cents if you can get Telos for less than 9 cents. TikTok user wants to know what's the indicator on the right. So that indicator that I'm using here, this is called the VRVP. These green and red bars here. Okay. That's the volume range visual profile. Let me just go ahead and show you on the indicators here. Hey, come on. Yep, you see this visual range volume profile here. Oh god, I just put two of them in there. But yeah, that's the name of it, the VRVP. Get rid of it. And what I like to do when I set up the VRVP, let me go ahead and click on the settings here. Hey, come on. Why is this thing not, it's not giving me what I want here. Hey, alright. Well, I was trying to do the settings here for you guys. I don't know why it's not showing me the settings here. Let me just go ahead and I'll just get rid of it, and I'll just go ahead and create a new one. Okay. So I'm gonna create a new visual range volume profile here, and I go into the settings, and it's not giving me the settings. Wow. Okay. I might have to restart my trading view here. But yeah, the VRVP, I was trying to show you that you can take the bars here and make them like around 240, and that gives me an idea as like, where the gaps might be. You can still see the gaps here, but right now it's the default setting is 24 on the bars. I like to have 240 bars, okay? Because I really want to dig deep and find out where the gaps might be on the visual range volume profile here. But that's the indicator that I'm using there, TikTok user. Jim saying that the best chart for the most data for Telos is Mexi. You're welcome, Jim. I'm glad I was able to help you take a look at Telos there for you. Let's see. We covered Bitcoin. We covered Ripple. We talked about Solana, Telos here. Let's get into Ethereum real quick for my Ethereum investors. Okay. Ethereum is currently trading at 1805. And Ethereum has been in this descending channel. I did a YouTube short video on Ethereum. You go check it out. But yeah, I'll try to give you the long and the short end of this. We're bearish on Ethereum, and we've been bearish on Ethereum ever since it lost the 200-day moving average. This red line here, around let's see, February 2nd here, and we need to get above 200-day moving average before I start to get bullish on Ethereum. Okay, but this descending channel shows that Ethereum could just continue on coming down to lower levels here. Okay, this blue descending parallel channel here. Looks like if we come back down the way we are trending on Ethereum, looks like you could hit the bottom of that channel at $1,400, and that could happen like around April 6th. Okay, we keep on being bearish on Ethereum. You could see a $1,300, $1,400 Ethereum going into the beginning of April. Okay, I was getting a little excited for Ethereum because I saw that we were creating some bullish divergence here, so there is a little bit of a bullish case on Ethereum. But if we lose this trend line here, okay, with these higher lows on the RSI, and we start making lower lows here, what does that mean? That means we're probably going down further on Ethereum to lower prices. So, you know, my $1,300, $1,400 target on Ethereum stays, and that possibly could happen next month, the way things are going with Ethereum in this descending channel. Okay, this it's like a river. Okay, you're descending down, you're staying within the confines of this parallel channel here, and it looks like you're getting rejected off the heart line, this dash line here, and you're going to come right down to like $1,300, $1,400 Ethereum going into April. Until we get some bullish catalysts here for Ethereum. Now, what could possibly be some bullish catalysts for Ethereum? I mean, there's some talks that they might do an Ethereum ETF, spot ETF with staking. Okay, that would help Ethereum. I'm not sure what a positive catalyst could be for Ethereum. I think they're starting to lower gas fees with the upgrades that they're making on the Ethereum ecosystem, but apparently that's not enough to get people excited about investing in Ethereum, because now Ethereum's at $1,800 and we're on our way down to $1,300. I would start getting bullish on Ethereum once I start seeing on the charts here. Okay, if Ethereum can get out of this this descending channel and get up to like 22, or even better would be like $2,400, then we can start talking about being bullish on Ethereum. Okay, but we can't be bullish on Ethereum just the way things are going right now. Raw footage is saying QT is ending. You're right, that should be good for the markets in general. Okay, we would like to see QT end, and we like to see quantitative easing start to come into play, QE. And then we want to start seeing some lower interest rates. But, you know, with Donald Trump threatening tariffs all over the place on all these countries doing business with America, and apparently doing business with Russia is a no-no now. I can't see why the Federal Reserve would lower interest rates, which is what we would really like to see, because that would help everybody, right? I mean, for all you who are saving up to buy a house or saving up to buy a car, it'd be nice to get lower interest rates, right? But not the way things are going with these retaliatory tariffs, secondary tariffs. You know, Donald Trump is trying to put tariffs on countries that aren't even causing any trouble with anybody. Okay? Apparently, he wants to put tariffs on anybody that buys Russian oil. So that's going to what? Now we have to start putting tariffs on India, because India buys a lot of oil from Russia. Could get really nasty in the markets. You're saying that tariffs are priced in. Maybe. I hope that QE will be the beginning of Ethereum outperforming Bitcoin. That would be nice for the Ethereum investors out there. I don't own any Ethereum. I had Ethereum. I sold it. last year, okay, at higher prices than what it is right now, thank God. But yeah, I can't be bullish on Ethereum until we get to like $2,400 here. Okay. All right, let's move on to we'll take a look at a stock here that I put into the caption of the video. We'll look at Nvidia. All right, Nvidia currently trading at $109.67. If you look at what I've looked at with previous chart work here, you know, Nvidia was in a rising wedge. Okay, rising wedges. These yellow lines here. I'll just get rid of the moving averages here. So if Nvidia was in a rising wedge, and rising wedges are usually bearish. Okay, they break down to the downside 70% of the time. 30% of the time they might actually break out to the upside. Okay, but the likelihood was we were going to break down to the downside, and you can see that's exactly what happened with Nvidia. As we saw to top out here in like December and January, okay, and we're creating some lower highs here, so it's obvious that we have we're breaking down to lower prices here on Nvidia. And if I turn on the moving averages, I mean, we lost the 200-day moving average, this red line, okay, on Nvidia. Maybe if I go out to the weekly chart, we might see some support areas. Okay, we got the 50-week moving average sitting at $87. That's a pretty steep drop, but that could be a strong support area for Nvidia. Okay, is if we come down to $87, $88. Okay, where you also have some sideways price trading action throughout the month of April and May of 2024. Okay, so I bet you if I turn on the VRVP, it's probably going to agree with me that $87 is probably where Nvidia is going to be coming down to. Okay, so you can see that right here on the VRVP, you got this high volume node here at like $89. So it looks like all roads are leading towards $89 would be the price target for Nvidia going forward here if we continue being bearish on Nvidia. Okay, like I said, the bullish case is that we got to start making higher lows and higher highs on Nvidia. I'll get rid of this. This is no longer, we obviously see how this thing played out. Okay, but if we can come back to this 21 EMA at $132, okay, then we can start being bullish on Nvidia. Okay, right now, just going back to the daily chart here, you know, we're bearish on Nvidia because we lost the 200-day moving average, and now this 21 EMA is acting as resistance. Every time we come up to the 21 EMA on the daily chart here, it's acting as resistance. That's actually a good time to start shorting in Nvidia if you're in the business of shorting these stocks. All right, Jim's in the chat here. You want me to check out the gap on the Ethereum futures? Okay. QT ends on April 1st, and Trump made tariff day April 2nd. No easy ride this time. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, we have QT ending, but we also have Donald Trump threatening more tariffs here on countries that do business with Russia now. Let's take a look at your Ethereum futures here. See if I can find anything interesting here. Ethereum futures are currently trading at $1,800, $1,801. And you can see that the 21 EMA is acting as resistance for your Ethereum futures here. So you could, you know, not have to think too hard about this, but every time you see Ethereum futures come up to the 21 EMA, you can use that as a time to sell signal. You can use it as a sell signal and just short some more Ethereum, or short Ethereum futures every time it comes up to the 21 EMA, because it's been acting as resistance so far. We do have possibly a possible change in trend here, okay, on the RSI. maybe this could be higher low, and maybe Ethereum does a U-turn and starts going up to higher prices here. Another thing I'm also visualizing here is you have the possibility of an inverted head and shoulder pattern could possibly be a play out, and this could be Ethereum just bottoming out here at $1,800. The MACD says that we're getting less buying pressure though, so that could be just a fantasy at this point. We have less green. The green candles are now turning into light green, and then I'm expecting them to possibly turn red. You get the stochastic RSI starting to trend downward. So, you know, it looks like Ethereum, like I said before, Ethereum could start to see $1,600, maybe $1,400 in the near future here. All right, just trying to see if there's any more requests here. Did I go over the stocks that I wanted to look at? We looked at the Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Microsoft. Yeah, I think we did for the most part. Look at the stocks that I wanted to look at. Let me see if I go back to fixing my indicator here on the VRVP. You gonna let me, no, you're not gonna let me change the settings here? Hey, let me try to restart the chart here. All right. Okay. Things a little bit messy here. Sorry for the messiness here, guys. You guys don't let me. All right, here we go. Okay, so like I was saying earlier, hopefully that TikTok user is still here. But this is what I do with the VRVP. Okay, I go over the settings, and I come down to the inputs, and I look over here where it says row size. I want 240, not 24. So 240, right? Changes the VRVP, and then it gives me the bars looking like this. It gives me a better idea as like where the gaps might be on the VRVP here. Okay, so that's what I do with the VRVP. You know, you just go back to settings here, and you go to inputs, and you want the row size 240. So just add a 0 into your trading view chart here. And then style, I mean, style, you can change the colors if you want. I stick with the default colors of green and red. I know some people like blue and yellow. But another thing you can do here is make sure that the point of control is checked off. Okay, that's going to give you that blue line. Okay, for the point of control. Actually, let me change that. I like my point of control to be blue. Okay. And then you can even put in the value area high, value area low as more lines to give you an idea as like where the volume area low might be or the volume area high. And then your chart will start to look like this. Okay, you got the point of control, you got the volume area low, which is a white line here, and volume area high, which is a white area. And the volume area high is just saying that 15% of all the volume in this chart was traded at that particular area. That's probably the high water mark if you're in a range, if you're doing like range trading here. Okay, and then the volume area low is this other white line, and that's just saying that the other 15% of the volume was being traded right over here. Okay, and that might be the low water mark for whatever trading range that you're in. Okay, but most of the volume, okay, about like roughly more than 50% of the volume is going to be right here where this blue line is this point of control. Now I like to clean things up here because I know I got some beginners here who get overwhelmed with all the settings that you can put on TradingView, and I usually take off the volume area high, volume area low when I'm showing the charts to you guys here, and I just leave the point of control, which is this blue line. Okay, I leave that there to give me an idea as like, you know, where all the volume is at. Okay, and I can just look at the regular high volume nodes here, these spikes up here. That tells me like where the high volume is at, where price is most likely gonna go. Hopefully you're able to see that. Yeah, I just look at the volume area here. gives me an idea like where traders and investors are gonna most likely settle up and where price is most likely gonna go. Right now, just looking at the VRVP here for Bitcoin. We got high volume here, $84,000. We lost that. We're lower than that, and the next high volume node is currently sitting at $76,000. That's why I say Bitcoin looks like it's going to come down to $76,000 if we continue being bearish. You know, going into later on this week and next week. Okay, we could see $76,000 Bitcoin. Unfortunately for you Bitcoin bulls, that's the way things are looking right now. Okay. Other thing I don't like here on the MACD, we'll look at the MACD now with Bitcoin. You're losing your buying pressure and you're getting light green candles here, and eventually you're going to start seeing some red candles start to show up, and that's going to probably be the next bottom or the next low for Bitcoin when you start seeing these red candles start to show up on the MACD. All right, Jim wants to look at Main Street Capital. We'll look at Main Street Capital, and then I think that's going to be it for this live stream. We just finished off here on Bitcoin, and we'll look at Main Street Capital. And I got a birthday party, guys, to go to. So I'm gonna have to unfortunately cut this stream short after that. Trying to make sure I get all the requests, all the last minute requests in here. Yeah, no, I don't think that. I think that's it for the requests here. We talked about all the requests, so I'll make that the last request, and then you know, you guys will see me tomorrow. I might do an earlier live stream. I might go live at like 5 p.m. We'll see what my schedule is looking like, but probably go live around that time, 5 p.m. East Coast time here. Okay. But yeah, we're looking at Main Street Capital. All right. So I got the indicators here. Main Street Capital looks like it's doing better than most of the stocks out there because it is above its 200-day moving average, and it's also looks like it's trying to stay above the 50-day moving average. 50-day moving average is sitting at $57.41. The stock is currently trading at $56.66. All right, let's see. So what I like about this stock is that it got above the 50-day moving average, and it looked like it was trying to use the 50-day as support one more time. As it came, it made a higher high, well, relatively higher high if you're just looking at the daily chart here. But looks like for some reason on Friday we just lost that 50-day. Okay. Not sure why. Maybe something news driven caused it to go below the 50-day. But you know, we'll see what the stock does tomorrow and Tuesday. I would like to see that if this thing does come down, I want to see it try to defend the 100-day moving average here, and also kind of like defend this level here where we got as low as $54.53 on Thursday, March 13th. Maybe you could get like a double bottom, and you can use that as support. You got the, you know, the 100-day moving average at 55, and then you got the possible support at $54.50. This could be, you know, it'll look like a W here, right? Come on down here, double bottom, and then shoot on up to higher prices here. Try to get back to that point of control at like 60 bucks, right? Where you got a lot of high volume at that level. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're how much you're into this stock here, but you could scoop up some cheaper Main Street at this $55 level, and then I would plan on selling it when it gets up to like 60 bucks if you're short-term trading this. Okay, that's how I would play it. then you got the possibility of a double bottom. Also with a double bottom, as I should point out to you, Jim, okay, you normally measure the double bottom, right? The measured move is from the double bottoms here to the top in between the two bottoms. And you take that measured move, you put it towards the top of the top in between the two bottoms here, okay? And the measured move is saying that this thing could get up to like $63.79 if it fully plays out. That doesn't say that it's guaranteed to happen, but the measured move does say that this thing could go back to $63.79. And is that a higher high than what it's done? I believe so, yeah. This thing has not gone up to like, it's been up as high as $63.25, $63.32 on February 21st. So yeah, this thing has the potential to make a higher high at $63.79. But yeah, I would start selling this stock if you're short-term trading it once it hits like 60 bucks. Yeah. Anything higher than that is gravy. Okay. But as long as you're above the 200-day moving average, you can still be bullish on this stock. I didn't really give you any bearish price targets here. You know, you would be bearish once you start losing that 200-day moving average at $53.83 here. And then you got, I mean, you got high volume here at $52. Could be another support area. And then you got more volume, the point of control at $49. Okay, so if this thing does start, you know, going below the 200-day moving average, you know for damn sure you're bearish when you go below the 200-day moving average. And then, you know, you got some support here at $49. Okay, so maybe you get some cheap Main Street shares at like 49 bucks. And I think that's gonna be it for this live stream here, guys. I'll end it off right here on Bitcoin. Bitcoin at $82,300. Most likely we're coming down to $76,000. Okay, I would be surprised if we don't. Okay, just the way things are going with, we talk about tariffs and secondary tariffs now on any country that buys oil from Russia. It could get nasty in the markets, and we could see Bitcoin come to $76,000. I would be bullish on Bitcoin if you get back above $84,000 and actually get up to like $89,000, which we haven't seen $89,000 in a while here. But that would be a higher high compared to what we did last week when we got as high as like 88,800. Close enough, but not really. Okay, so I would be bullish on Bitcoin once more once we get up to $89,000. Other than that, it's very sketchy out there, guys. It's not looking so great. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on to the live stream. I appreciate the likes and subscribes. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe and click that follow button for my TikTok streamers. And if you're liking the analysis here, go ahead and hit that like button. Show that appreciation. I appreciate you guys coming out here. I know your most valuable asset is your time. I appreciate you guys taking the time to look at these charts with me. Take care, guys.